What's going on, fellow A-Plusers? It is I, your Morphinominal host, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new video today, as we're set to go ahead and get into a brand new Toei Tokusatsu fan club series review, or a web series review for you guys, as we finally tackle Ryusoulger, the legacy of the Master's Soul. This is actually a three-parter here. Part 1 and Part 2 are currently out as of right now. I honestly originally thought it was just 2 parts, so when I got to the end of the second part, I'm like, wait, what, is that how it ends, sort of thing? But there is a third episode that's certainly dropping. I believe it's supposed to drop on the 26th, maybe sometime right after Christmas, so we'll definitely go ahead and keep you guys posted. So this is really going to be a review and my thoughts in regards to the first 2 parts, and then of course once the third drops, we'll definitely go ahead and talk about it a little bit, as I am kind of playing catch up in regards to a lot of these little web series that Toei has certainly been putting out for the fan club recently. If you guys missed it, we also did drop part 2 to the Yodana special for you guys. Go ahead and certainly check it out. I believe we also did Memories of a Soulmate, or whatever the case may be, the other Ryusoulger little 1 episode that they wind up doing. I think it might have been like a little movie or something like that for Nada and his story also. So we definitely tackled that as well. So I was really looking forward to getting into Legacy of the Master's Soul. This is a web series that focuses on the 3 masters from the Ryusoulger series that we got very limited screen time on, unfortunately, in Master Red, Master Blue, and Master Pink, and this kind of expands upon their story. Timeline wise, from everything that I've been able to pick up so far, I believe that this is actually after Super Sentai Strongest Battle, after those particular shots of the Ryusoulger team. I believe it's Ryusoul Black and Green, as they're kind of doing their own thing. So I believe this is after that particular mini-series, but before episode 1 of Ryusoulger, just to go ahead and give you guys an idea of the timeline in here. I got to get something off my chest, guys, because if you did follow us for the Ryusoulger reviews when we were A+ opinions before we even started this particular YouTube channel, I was not necessarily the biggest fan of that particular series. It felt very sort of surface level, what you see is what you get sort of thing. Didn't really have the depth for a Super Sentai series that I was really looking forward to. Although I felt like the last quarter of that particular series, with maybe some Nada and Guy Sorg storylines in between, that really finally sort of captured my attention. But I saw, for the most part, I felt like a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of wasted potential when it comes to Ryusoulger. And again, that's just me, guys. You guys can certainly have your own thoughts in regards to the series. Maybe you guys really loved it and it was everything that you needed it to be. I certainly hope you guys certainly enjoyed it for what it was. One of the things out of that series, though, that I always wanted to see more of was the Masters. And so when they announced this web series, I was completely on board, because I wanted to see, one, what their personalities were like, what the Ryusoul tribe was like during their time, and really what they could have potentially added to the main series. And I gotta tell you, and maybe this is what it was certainly meant to be, but when I sat down to watch these first 2 parts, this was like night and day compared to the Ryusoulger series. Definitely a lot more drama involved. I absolutely love the tone and the atmosphere that this particular web series was certainly setting up. It certainly did have little light-hearted moments here and there, as we get to see some familiar faces from the Ryusoulger team themselves, like Ko, who always certainly brightens up the scene whenever he's certainly on screen, sort of thing. But this definitely was a lot more drama driven, and I felt like, for me, this is sort of what I always wanted Ryusoulger to certainly be. You know, a focus on the story, a focus on the characters, with some humor kind of thrown in there, some lightheartedness, you know, some clearly very touching moments from time to time. Whereas for me, Ryusoulger was just a little bit normal, you know, like just an average Super Sentai series that not much effort was certainly kind of given into it. And so when I look at this web series, and I even look at the little Nada episode or movie that we wind up getting, I kind of look at all of these as an apology letter to those that spent so much time on Ryusoulger and felt as unfulfilled as I certainly did, because when I look at who the particular writer was for this particular little mini series in Shimo Ayumi, when I go and actually look at to see how involved he was in the Ryusoulger series themselves, they only wrote like 6 episodes out of the 45 or however many episodes that we wind up getting. And after watching this 2-part miniseries, I kept thinking to myself, man, I almost wish that he wrote more. I almost wish that he was the showrunner or the main lead in regards to the writing room for this particular show, because it does feel very much night and day. So as a viewer, going into this almost made me more frustrated about the time that I wasted with Ryusoulger when I see exactly the possibilities that series could have been in the hands of this particular writer, and I was really on board with it. You know, one of the things that we talked about even when we watched Ryusoulger was the idea that, you know, we kind of wanted to see the Masters a little bit more involved, and spoiler warning, the fact that the Masters get killed off in the very first episode really leaves a lot to the imagination of what could have been. And just getting an opportunity, and spoilers over, but just now getting the opportunity to see all the drama and the lore and the complicatedness of the Ryusoul tribe and everything that comes along with it, this makes for so much more compelling story than I almost feel anything that I wind up getting in Ryusoulger, again, with the exception of maybe some of the Nada stuff and maybe the last quarter of that particular series, because I did think Ryusoulger at least rounded itself out relatively well, especially once you actually put in all the lore building and the flashbacks and seeing how it kind of all comes together. But man, the idea of having the Masters involved in that series, I truly think would have gone a huge way, especially now seeing the story that's unfolding in this 2-parter. I absolutely loved it, man. I'm actually a really big fan of this particular series. Again, 2 parts have been released. There's still a finale certainly yet to go, so I am certainly waiting, but this definitely gave me more issues looking back at Ryusoulger, considering the fact of how much I love these first 2 episodes in here. And we get introduced to a bunch of brand new characters, other potential predecessors to the Ryusoulger tribe, in the sense of other people that could have potentially been some of the Ryusoulger members that we see in this series themselves, but maybe didn't quite make the cut, or something wind up keeping them away, or maybe the Masters certainly didn't select them. So I did think it was rather interesting to go ahead and bring up some of these character names, because I found them rather interesting. Isuka. The character Isuka is another potential trainee or apprentice to Master Pink. And we do get a great storyline between Asuna and Master Pink in the Ryusoulger series. But this goes ahead and elaborates it in the sense that it's not just Asuna that she wind up picking. There definitely was another option there in regards to who could have also been Ryusoulger Pink. And this is the character Isuka. And Isuka clearly is one of the more powerful pink pupils that she certainly has. There is a level of cockiness and arrogance to her where she believes she's truly the only choice as Ryusoulger Pink. Kind of looks down on Asuna in regards to what she could certainly provide to the Ryusoul tribe. And Isuka's really truly willing to do anything to prove to her master why she should be the one, even though she's under the understanding that Asuna might be the new Pink, or at least the next one up, if you will. And so to see the lengths that Isuka would certainly go through, and the lesson that she winds up learning in here, like, I love the battle that we wind up having between Asuka and Asuna. The fact that Asuna doesn't even really pick up a fist, you know, in order to sort of fight back. She really lets Asuka kind of get this anger and really express herself sort of out of the way. And it's a really tense moment, but I think it's a really big learning moment, especially for Isuka, in a sense of understanding what it is that's so special about Asuna in the first place. And it's the fact that Asuna's first thought is not to fight, and understands that the motto for the Ryusoulgers is to protect, right? fight to protect, not necessarily just to fight and show how strong and capable and powerful you certainly are. It definitely gives me reminiscence of like what makes the difference between like a Jedi and a Sith, right? Or the concept of with great power comes great responsibility. The idea of knowing when to fight and why to fight, and to kind of see Ahsoka taking that initiative to fight against one of her own peers, you know, to fight against somebody that she should be on the same side with, but really trying to do this to certainly prove a point. And I love the fact that it winds up bringing Ahsoka sort of to her knees, understanding that it takes a lot more than just strength and power to be a real soldier, right? And I love that moment that we see between Ahsoka and Master Pink, as she expresses, that's why I picked Asuna, you know, because of the fact that she's not going to pull the trigger first. She understands what it certainly means. And I thought that was really compelling stuff in here. And I think Ahsoka, the actress that plays her, really great, man. I mean, being able to really show a great range, the emotion that winds up coming out of this moment between her and Master Pink really went a long way for me. So to kind of even see that there's that kind of drama between pupils and apprentices and whoever's supposed to be next in the hierarchy, or whoever the masters will certainly decide to choose, I do love seeing the fact that there is a little bit of competition. Some people clearly take it a little bit more serious than others, or people at least maybe take it out of context as to what it truly is to be a real soldier. So I really enjoyed the moment that we wind up having in here. When it comes to Master Blue, I love the idea here that we get to see, again, two apprentices. We got Melto, who we come to find out eventually will turn out to be Ryusoulger Blue, and his former apprentice in Mayu. The fact that she was in competition with Melto, but wind up leaving the Ryusoulger tribe in order to explore her love for research, or I should say her love for research. It's a great moment in here when we get to see Master Blue attempting to get information from Mayu, right? Winds up leaving the tribe to go ahead and visit with Mayu after everything that certainly happens. And their conversation and the chemistry between these two is a little bit awkward, right? Like, you definitely know that there's certainly more there than certainly meets the eye, especially the way that Mayu looks at Master Blue. And we eventually come to find out that it's not necessarily her love for research, but she's in love with more than research. And it's the fact that she definitely wanted to be Master Blue's girlfriend or love at some point in time, but unfortunately is heartbroken at the thought that perhaps Master Blue is interested in Master Pink. So maybe between those two, there's some chemistry, some camaraderie, something that Mayu wind up picking up on and didn't feel very comfortable with, thought maybe she certainly had the opportunity to do so, and unfortunately just couldn't sit with that idea and wind up sort of leaving on her own. Clearly has a love for research, but clearly maybe forcing her own self out of that particular sort of situation. So when we do see the two in here, it is interesting to me to see how Master Blue treats her, because I do wonder if there's almost a sense of feelings that maybe Blue even also has for Mayu herself and hasn't fully expressed it, or doesn't know how to express it, or maybe he knows how she certainly feels about him. There's a great scene in here, I can't remember the line, but she just kind of looks into his eyes, and like all the noises and the sounds just leave, and all you hear is just whatever she's certainly saying, right? Like, she's just looking at him with those fond eyes. And even in episode 1, I knew where it was leading to just based off of that scene alone, and then it was in fact confirmed in episode number 2. But she leaves it all behind, despite the fact that Blue thinking that she could have been a really great Ryusoulger. And there are moments in here where I think to myself, is Melto really his second choice? I almost am under the impression that when it comes to Master Blue, Mayu probably was his first choice. And it's one of those things, because the fact that he continues to compliment her, kind of surprised that maybe at the idea that she wind up leaving in the first place, right? Not fully understanding why. hearing from Master Blue that Melto was just really trying to copy him, not necessarily being his own person. I mean, they even refer to Melto as rather clumsy, which is certainly true, right? Certainly true based off of what we've seen in the series. And when it comes to Ryusoulger, Melto does do a great job in regards to just growth as a character and more confidence in himself. But you can see that clumsiness from Melto in here. You can see the idea of him literally copying every little thing that Master Blue does, and I'm pretty sure it kind of gets under his skin. So when he does compliment Mayu the way that he does, it does make me feel very much like she probably would have been his first choice if she stuck around. But the fact that she wind up leaving sort of automatically put Melto in that position of being the next predecessor. So it does feel like Melto was the second choice at the end of the day, which I don't know if that was ever expressed to Melto in the series or not. But I do wonder if maybe Melto could feel that and sense that, and maybe that's why he was the way that he was in that particular series. But great stuff in regards to that, honestly. We also do see in here a former senior apprentice to Master Red. I believe his name is Neri. I'm assuming this guy either never made the cut after all the years, or he's just stuck around and he's been around for so long, he's got that senior sort of status. But I really love his personality in here. Very much sort of like darker tones, right? A little bit more somber. Definitely feels like he's got some evil intentions. The way that they kind of build him up, you do wonder, like, is this guy going to be the villain of this miniseries? Because he definitely has a dark edge to him that I'm really a big fan of. And clearly close with the departed character in Haragi, which I'll go ahead and get into in here in just a little bit, and wants nothing more than to go ahead and bring back his particular friend using one of their real soul keys in the Kanai soul. I believe we've seen the Kanai soul highlighted in the Ryusoulger series. I could be wrong. It's a soul key that allows the user to have be granted any one particular wish. And so we do see Neri in here truly willing to do anything in order to gain that power and gain that one wish that he needs, to the point to where he's even holding somebody like Mayu at sword point sort of thing, fighting alongside or fighting against Master Blue, if you will. Unbeknownst to him, his particular Kanai soul that he gets a hold of is a replica and certainly doesn't work. But I think it does go to show you the lengths that this guy is certainly willing to go. So I'm hoping they explore him a little bit more in episode 3. But again, for the most part, I was a really big fan of the dark edge of his character that we wind up getting. But we also get introduced to another character by the name of Hana, who we come to find out is actually the daughter of Haragi. She's in this episode trying to hunt down or seeking out Master Red. She claims that Master Red saved her from the Minosaur at some particular point in time. There are elements of her personality that kind of remind me of Uni a little bit from the Ryusoulger series and just her enthusiasm. But we quickly come to find out she is in fact lying about why she's hunting down Master Red, as we come to find out that her father is actually Haragi, and she unfortunately found him dead upon visiting and arriving at his place to go ahead and visit him. And so she's under the impression that the person that killed her father was there for his abilities and his powers, considering the fact that he was a former Ryusoul Red himself. So now that he's no longer the Ryusoul Red and he's passed, she's under the impression that Master Red certainly had something to do with it, and feels he's the one that's definitely responsible, since he's the one holding that mantle now. The idea of seeing that, though, does in fact birth another Minosaur here, based off of her grief and really her thirst for revenge and trying to get back Master Red. And there's really something cool about how they introduced the Minosaur from episode 1, and really how, because of the fact that there's so much tension that's going on with all these characters and their masters, you really don't know who the Minosaur is coming from. And so the fact that they are able to weave sort of the deception to its viewers, making you think that maybe it's Asuka at first, right? That maybe birthed it. There's a possibility that maybe Mayu in her jealousy wind up birthing it. Hell, maybe it's even Neri, with his dark edge and everything like that, willing to do anything that it takes to bring back somebody that was close to him, sort of thing. The fact that we come to find out that it is this daughter of a former Ryusoulger Red, I love the fact of that revelation not coming until the very end of this second episode, sort of thing. And so all the deceptiveness, all the drama that we certainly explore, I thought had itself a really great payoff by the end of the second episode. So I truly loved what I wind up seeing in here, man. Again, I think, maybe not as action oriented or as heavy as something as bombastic as the Ryusoulger, right? Like, even though I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of the Ryusoulger series, one of the things I will always take away with it is the suits look great, the action sequences were incredible, and the Zord battles were off the charts. So those are the three things that I truly appreciated about Ryusoulger, and we didn't get too much of that in this episode. I mean, we wind in both of these episodes, we do get a little bit of Ryusoulger action, if you will, but a lot of this is really driven by the story, the performances, and the character arcs, and all the drama and the deceptiveness being weaved together to finally reveal where the Minosaur is certainly coming from. So I loved it. It felt heavy. It felt serious. It felt like it has a point to this particular story, and I cannot wait to see how this winds up ending. But again, as much as I love this did nothing more for me than, one, make me feel like this was an apology for sitting all the way through Ryusoulger, and really, again, continues to show the idea of missed opportunities that were in Ryusoulger. The idea of maybe having some of these masters along the ride for an entire 40, 45 plus episodes, maybe even including some of this drama that you're bringing in with these former apprentices, I think really could have gone a long way of adding a lot more depth to the Ryusoulger series that it definitely was missing. Because again, it felt very just copy paste, very simplistic, very surface level at the end of the day for me. And so I really love what we wind up getting. So if you guys have not had the opportunity to check out the Legacy of the Master Souls, do yourselves a favor and definitely go ahead and do so. Episodes 1 is out and episode 2. And again, I believe the final episode drops after Christmas, I believe on the 26th, but definitely keep your guys' eye out. And once it becomes available, if I get the opportunity to sit down and check it out, I definitely will. Not very long episodes. I think each episode is like 15 minutes or so. So a nice little 30-minute chunk, I was able to go ahead and check out both of these episodes together. And great stuff, guys. Definitely go ahead and check it out. Remember, at the end of the day, these are just simply my A+ opinions, but I want to know yours. What did you guys think of the Legacy of Master Souls episodes 1 and 2? Let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below, guys. And until next time, do me a big favor. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.